Well, this is it. The final day.
I haven't forgotten.
Have you made your decision yet?
What decision?
You know, whether or not to stick with you-know-who. You could just walk out that door right now.
Maybe, but I won't. Not when the people I care about might be in danger. We're here. We're not leaving.
Just making sure you were confident about it.
There are too many unanswered questions, even for answers I thought I already had. Francisca and Waters told me they'd look into your little adventure yesterday.
I hope I got us enough, but I might have just made it all more confusing.
We don't have the full story yet. I feel like we're almost there, but not quite. Connecting everything should be our first priority. Still a lot that doesn't match up. Jane Hood in particular. Something's off with her harebrained confession. But she's far from being the only one. Mr. Yossarian. No, Menderes. I still don't know what we'll do with him. This is the last day. It'll have to end one way or another.
And speak of the devil.
You better be ready. My neck's depending on you. Try not to screw up.
Did you kill Virgil Black?
No.
Did you kill Ms. Porter?
How the heck could I do that? I was in jail.
Did you order her assassination?
No.
Did you kill Jimmy with a shovel?
Look, I'm being set up. Maybe I'm a crime boss. Yeah, I've done my share. But I deserve a fair trial, just the same as anyone else. I already told you I didn't kill him. Now, are you gonna believe me or not?
Let's see.
Damn it! That's what you said last night, right before you left. I need to know who I'm staking my life on.
If you're guilty, I couldn't care less what happens to you. You've given me no reason to trust you, and every reason not to. You've hunted me and my friends. Your goon tried to kill Maya.
Maya? Faye?
That's right. I haven't forgotten. Who did you think I was when you hired me? You only need to be afraid if you're guilty. Oh, it's not.
Phoenix Wright is an honest man. You're in good hands.
What do you mean?
This man has more integrity in his little finger than both of us put together. When I say you can trust him, I mean you should do so with your life. Yeah? And why should I believe you? Because he's the only one I know who wants you to have a fair trial. He has every reason to hate you, and yet...
Are you okay?
I'm better than I've ever been.
Should you be in here? You're not prosecuting the case anymore.
Don't be so sure about that. The end is in sight, and I had no intention of giving the victory to Von Karma. I'm going to help you solve this case.
You? Help me? Yesterday was the other way around.
A lot's changed since yesterday. That's all I'll say for now. If Menderes didn't kill anyone, we'll find who did. I will put aside my vendetta to see it through.
Well, okay. Glad to have you aboard. Now that's a heck of a turnabout if I've ever seen one.
Order! Court is in session. I have been informed that our case has had several large developments since yesterday. Most startling to me of which is that you are back, Mr. Williamson. Whatever happened to Ms. Von Karma? I simply requested to be reinstated as prosecutor. The issue which distracted me has been dealt with. She was not the person originally assigned to the case. As such, she had to give up her spot to me. Oh, I'm sure she had a few things to say about that. She did at that. But after we reviewed all the official papers, she saw she didn't have a choice in the matter. You see, I did ask to be withdrawn. But as I was recalling events the other day, it came to me. I never signed the proper forms to make it official. In the confusion of everything, nobody even seemed to notice. And since I never made my withdrawal official, her replacement of me was void.
Did you just make that up?
I did not. Your Honor, the courtroom should have several books on case law. If you'll open volume 27 of the most recent edition, you can find stipulation B4980C22. All information discovered in yesterday's trial would still stand. But I was returned to the bench post haste. But bailiff? It looks like he's correct, Your Honor. Right here on page 568. Well, then I'm glad to have you back with us. Shall we get started? Nothing would please me more, Your Honor. Yesterday, as you know, Finnegan Hood's daughter was suspected for murder. She has since been arrested for attacking the defense's aide. During the confrontation, she admitted to having stabbed Miss Gladys Porter to death. A knife was also found in her possession, which had blood from the crime scene. Miss, I hope you are not harmed.
No, I'm okay.
Do we still believe Ms. Porter's death is related to the other two? The defense mentioned something along those lines the other day.
I'm certain they are, Your Honor.
Well, then will you be calling your partner as a witness? He will not have to. Jane Hood has made a full confession and wishes to speak herself. She does? And do we trust her? I do not, but we will hear from her nonetheless. She was possibly present at one crime, and claims to have been at another. She is a vital link to this story, and I mean to find what it is. I see. Well then, let's bring her in. State your name and occupation for the record.
I am Jane.
Miss Hood, you have confessed to murdering a state's witness. You had what I believe was the murder weapon in your home. Perhaps you would care to explain these facts to the court?
You're a boring man. I don't want to talk to you. You're not the one I wish to speak with. Oh, Mr. Wright is who I want to speak with.
Well, Wright, she's all yours.
Yes?
Did you speak to Mr. Hood yesterday after my arrest?
Yes, I did.
What did he say to you?
He doesn't believe you did it.
And you agree with him?
I'm keeping an open mind. Guilty or innocent, what do you hope to gain from confessing?
Am I that confusing? I guess I should keep things simple. I'm a simple girl. I have simple interests, simple desires. Watching you rack your brain trying to figure me out, it just makes my day.
I'm not going to be the one suffering if you go to prison. You're making a mistake.
I don't make mistakes. Never. Not ever. Deny it all you want. Giving myself up was not my mistake. Neither was killing the reporter. Oh, yes. I almost forgot. You want me to talk about her murder, don't you? It's not a complicated story, and somehow you've yet to figure it out. Well, perhaps I can dumb it down so you'll understand. I killed Miss Porter!
That's it?
I'm sorry, was that too much? I tried to make it easy enough for you to understand fully. You didn't seem to understand fully.
But you didn't say anything we haven't already heard.
Maybe that's all you needed to hear. Information is precious. I don't give it out freely. I will tell you what you need to know when you need to hear it. She's so full of herself. If she's going to confess, she should tell us what she knows.
I'll have to drag the details out of her. That's the only way we'll get anything meaningful from this. What you need to know, when you need to hear it. She's been eager to talk about the murder until now. Just press, and I'm sure I can get the information I need.
She isn't telling us a ton, is she?
She must want to direct the conversation a certain way. If she only says one thing, she knows what my response will be.
And then she knows how to respond to that.
Where she's leading us? Now that I'd like to know. Straight to the point. You're not giving me much to work with.
Your convenience is not what I had in mind. I am the obvious culprit, aren't I?
There isn't anyone else at the moment.
Exactly. You have my word. But more importantly, you have evidence.
Evidence?
Nobody would believe me without it. At least, nobody should believe me. Luckily for you, you have proof I killed her. Why don't you show it to everybody, Mr. Wright? Show them that proof you're so lucky to have.
See, we do have one thing connecting her to the crime scene. Why is she telling me to present that? Alright, fine. Objection! Is this knife what you're pointing at?
Yes, I am. What was it the old man said? Her blood is on the blade. Her blood and my prints. It's like a match made in heaven. She never stood a chance.
The defense is aiming to prove that the witness killed Ms. Porter. Yet I fail to see the relevance this has for our other two murders.
When we ended yesterday, this girl was a potential suspect. If she killed Miss Porter, that cements it.
So then, you do believe she did it?
I can't rule anything out. Something doesn't add up. Nothing she's told us links back to Jameson or Black. That's the real problem.
I noticed that too. Miss, you say you stabbed her with a knife, but we've no other particulars. Does this have anything to do with either of the other two deaths?
I couldn't say. All those people died. It gets so hard to keep track. Do you really want me to muddle everything more than it already is?
No, thank you. Please just answer clearly any and all questions the defense has for you.
The defense? Now that the knife business is out there, I might as well open up some more. But my first statement says the same. I killed Ms. Porter, and I used that knife. The knife with her blood all over it. You know the one.
Yes. Mr. Wright, please continue.
Why'd she care so much about you pointing out that knife?
Why do the hoods do anything?
Sometimes I think it's just to mess with us.
I wouldn't past either of them, but Jane has some other motive. She wouldn't let us progress until that knife got mentioned.
Even though it looks bad for her. Some things I just don't understand.
You and me both. Okay, I guess I have to press again then. There are some things I think you should expand on.
You think you can make demands of me? Arrogant fool! You're lucky I'm feeling generous. Ask your questions, worm. All my answers will lead to the same result.
There's one thing I've been wondering about. Save. Where did you kill Ms. Porter?
Shouldn't that be obvious? Even a simpleton such as yourself should know it. I killed her in her office at the magazine building.
The magazine building? You don't know the name of the place?
I can't be bothered with trivialities. There are more important things for me to focus on. It was her office. Is that not enough?
We can let it pass. For now. To me at least, the location of the murder is the least concerning thing about it.
Why did you kill Ms. Porter?
Why? The one was bothersome. Is that not enough?
No. How did she bother you?
Who cares why?
Who cares?
I said she bothered me. I confessed to killing her. My prints are on the knife. But why did she bother me? Please. You're not asking the right questions. Try again, Mr. Wright. Ask a better question with a better answer, and then maybe why will actually mean anything.
Alright, so she's saying, ask something else, then why. Save. When did you kill Ms. Porter?
It was around midday yesterday.
Is there a more specific time?
I can't recall. I don't normally carry a watch or a phone. I have no need for them. Besides, a proper murder can be done at any time. The time is unimportant.
I'd say it's very important if you want to have an alibi.
Well, I don't. I lack an alibi. That's why I'm here, isn't it? The police wouldn't arrest me if they already knew I was somewhere else. Oh, wait, I was with my friend at the mall. Should I have said that instead?
It might help you more.
But it would be a lie. Lying's bad.
And murder isn't? So, about the victim. Tell me exactly who you killed.
Are you some kind of idiot? It was Gladys Porter.
Okay, I have her name, but who was she?
She was a writer for some magazine or other. Have you not been paying attention to the trial at all?
I have, and it looks like you have too. Now tell me, who was Gladys Porter? What was her personality? What were her life goals? What color was her hair?
What is the point of this? I hope you are leading somewhere.
Just bear with me, prosecutor. I'd like for the witness to answer my questions. Or you know what? Just one. How about just one?
Witness? Please respond.
I'm sorry. It all seems to have slipped my mind.
You don't know the first thing about Miss Porter, do you? You say you killed her, but you can't tell us any more beyond her name and job.
Maybe you're right. I think you're right, Mr. Wright. He knows how to ask the right questions, it seems.
And now why matters. Why did you kill Miss Porter?
Why?
I care why. You can't give us a single detail about Ms. Porter or what she was like. And somehow, she bothered you enough for you to murder her? No, Jane. Why did you do it?
An excellent question. Well, witness?
Yes, I agree it was. Well, the truth is, everybody, I'm not the one she bothered.
So it was another hit job?
Perhaps. Maybe. I think the defense might have a clue to what it means.
Do I? I think I do. This must be where Jane is trying to lead the discussion. Looks like you're right for once. This is evidence related to your alleged hit job. Alright, not that. Like, everything is evidence to the alleged hit job. Well, there's the hit list. Nope. That was for her sister. And there are no fingerprints in the office. Okay. Wiretap, really? You've wanted me to show the court two pieces of evidence. First was the knife, the murder weapon. Second, I'm guessing, was one of the killer's calling cards.
It's that card again, but I thought we'd established it was irrelevant.
The witness apparently doesn't think so. Do you, Miss Hood?
Well, the card was found in my house. I hid it together with the knife. So, you tell me, how can you say it's irrelevant anymore?
You or your father placed the killer's card at the crime scene to confuse the investigation. Witness, you are the sole connection this case has to Shelley the killer.
Am I? Well, how can I possibly argue with that? I guess he's right. I put the first card by the grave to confuse people. And I put the second one in our cabinet to confuse people. So I must have done it all to make people think that the killer was to blame. Of course, silly me, I hadn't realized he left America long ago. So I guess that it all just points to me.
Are you saying you planned for us to find the knife?
Is that what it sounds like? That sounds stupid. Why would I do a stupid thing like that?
It does sound really dumb. Unless she's not really the killer. The whole thing seemed wonky up until now, but she has to be making it up. Mr. Hood said he wanted to protect Jane with the card the first time. That must be it too the second time around. Witness, you didn't kill anyone. Not Ms. Porter, not Mr. Black, not anyone. This needs to stop right now. Tell us the truth.
Stop? Stop what? Why should I stop when it's so obviously clear who the murderer is? That's me, Worm. I'm guilty. Look at how guilty I am. You were ready to lock me away forever yesterday, weren't you?
I didn't know that, and I didn't know then what I know now. But you didn't stab Miss Porter. You didn't do it, so I won't let you be arrested for it.
How endearing. An attorney who only wants the truth. I'd laugh if it wasn't just so cliché. The evidence points to me, doesn't it? Maybe I should just have you look one more time to see how truly guilty I truly am. I used the knife to kill Miss Porter. I broke into her office and killed her. She tried to escape but died instead. I tried hiding the knife at my house later, but Trucy Wright found it.
Alright, here's the no fingerprints in the office. There's more information this time, and it might just be enough. I actually have details for the crime. I can work with that. This is where Jane has been leading us. Why? I guess we're about to find out. The knife has her blood. It seems to be the murder weapon.
Yes, and you found it in my home. It all makes sense now, right? After how Mr. Hood tried so hard to protect me. I had to go and get caught for a whole new murder and spoil everything. I'm awful like that, aren't I? Ruining everything for everyone.
Hood didn't seem to think so. No matter what, Jane had access to the knife, so she's involved somehow. If Hood's story about seeing her with the killer is right, then it might make sense. How did you break in?
How? What a silly question. Were you trying to slip me up? There would only be two ways, wouldn't there? Two ways to enter the room. I could either go through the door or a window if she had one. You were hoping I would say the wrong answer and get some sort of lead out of that?
Which was it?
Let's say I say the true answer. Then you have nothing. Well, let's say I answer falsely. Now you have a contradiction. But where does it lead? Nowhere. That's your result, worm. It leads nowhere. You still have nothing. Oops, sorry. I guess I lied about the means of entry. But you caught me at least.
Either way, I'd like for you to answer the question.
Yes, witness. Please give him a straight response.
The window. It was the window. I entered and exited through the window, so she wasn't found until the next day.
Well, I was right. The killer did come in through there. Maybe that really was just a dead end for me. Did she fight back? Did she struggle?
Once she saw me, she attempted to escape. Unfortunately for her, she did not. I thrust the knife into her and ended her life. As you can see, I was unharmed. She did not touch me.
You have seen the murder scene for yourself, Wright. You should know whether or not a struggle took place.
I was testing to see if Jane did too. Well, it looks like she won't tell me much. You tried to kill my daughter, and you used that same knife to do it.
Oh, my, did I? Why on earth would I do that? Oh, wait, of course. How could I be so silly? Obviously, it's because I'm the killer who killed Miss Porter. I saw Trucy prying through evidence which would convict me and defended myself. That's what she told me there. She told me she killed Miss Porter and was going to kill me. There, isn't that wonderful? You have an eyewitness. The detective heard it too, and everybody heard it. I'm so sloppy, I guess. I've left so many witnesses. Very sloppy of me. Bad, Jane. Very bad.
Very sloppy, no doubt.
He's still being vague, but it's progress at least.
It's hard to get anything meaningful out of her. She really wants me to only ask specific questions.
Like father, like daughter, huh?
Like father, like daughter.
Oh, don't look so glum. It's not always a bad thing.
Hood wanted to protect Jane. Maybe in some twisted way that's what she's doing too. It was a small office, so there are only so many ways you could get in. We know the killer came in through her window, and you said you did the same. But there's one big problem with that.
And what might that be?
You, Jane. You. There isn't a single one of your fingerprints in the room. If they'd have been anywhere, they would have been on the windowsill, but they're missing. You were never in that room.
Isn't there a simple answer for that? Easy, I just use gloves. Any killer would use gloves.
Not this one. Not you. You didn't use gloves to commit the murder. The murder weapon has your prints. The knife, but nothing else in the room. Call me crazy, but it's almost as if you didn't hold the knife until after the murder.
Ha! You're wrong. My prints are on the knife because I used it to attack the girl. I wasn't wearing gloves then, but I did kill Miss Porter.
That doesn't work either. You see, there was something really odd about the crime scene.
No, there aren't any fingerprints at all, and no glove prints either. Nothing's even been wiped off. There was only some oily residue from a person's palm, but we don't keep records of that.
The killer wasn't wearing gloves.
That doesn't make sense. No gloves or prints. If I didn't use gloves, I would leave prints. Where are my prints?
That's the thing, you didn't. With or without gloves, you would have left a mark on that room, but you didn't. We know from the knife what your fingerprints look like, but you didn't leave any. The person who stabbed Ms. Porter didn't have fingerprints.
No fingerprints? How could you identify them?
At the moment, that isn't the issue. Think what this means for the witness. We know they didn't use gloves, and we've seen Jane's prints. It couldn't have been her.
Funny man, you're funny. But I still had the knife in my possession. How else could I have gotten it?
You must be involved with the crime in some way. I'm pretty sure I know how. You had the knife, so that makes you... You were a witness to the crime.
That would require her to have been at Old Cult in some form. Yet I seem to recall you pointing out that she never once entered the office. So, Wright, which is it? Did she or didn't she?
Well, I guess her prints weren't at the scene.
No, they weren't. There, you've answered my question. A bit of consistency from now on would be nice.
Let's not go back on ourselves there, Phoenix. You never entered Occult. You never stabbed Miss Porter. But you somehow ended up with the knife. So the question is, where did it come from? You must have received it from the true killer. Somebody gave the knife to you to hide. That's why your prints are on it, but not the office's window. And that makes you, Jane Hood, the killer's accomplice.
Thank you. This girl did not kill Miss Porter. Sadly, it seems for the deaths of Mr. Jameson and Black, we have learned nothing. The defendant has not been charged with Miss Porter's.
The prosecution didn't assume all three were related?
It's possible, though the suspect has been in jail the whole time. One theory was that he hired a hitman for the final victim, but there is not yet substantial proof. It would have been very difficult contacting anyone on the outside. The witness is merely an accomplice, at most. We must find her relation to the other two crimes.
Easy. This isn't the first time Jane has been an accomplice to murder.
It isn't?
Jane also helped the killer cover for... Which one's which? I forgot. Jane met the man who killed Virgil Black. She spoke with him while he was burying the body, and he let her go. There's your connection.
Mr. Black, how do we know that?
Finnegan Hood saw a man and young woman together. Rather, he mostly just heard them. He left his house after Jane went missing and searched the forest for her. Then he found her speaking with a strange man who he later assumed she'd killed. But that man wasn't the victim. He was Mr. Black's murderer. Both Mr. Hood and his daughter then kept silent about it until Mr. Jameson was found.
If I'd stumbled upon a stranger burying a body, why would he let me go? I would think a killer would kill someone who knew that he'd killed.
You're a good actor. I can tell just by watching you. And you're smart too. You found a way to convince him that you could be useful. Maybe that you'd be able to cover up and help him in future murders. That's why he left the knife with you. The man thought he could trust you to get rid of it. Mr. Black's killer also murdered Gladys Porter.
Order! What a turn of events! Can the defense prove this?
If Jane helped with either murder, then I know she can. Witness, you should be able to describe who you met.
Obviously, I will say you're right, no matter what. If it's true, and I'll admit it. If it's not, wouldn't I say it is to make myself look good? You know I am involved with at least 2 of the crimes. Isn't it possible I possibly killed everybody?
Everybody?
That would be a reasonable idea to consider. You should consider it. I stabbed and throttled Guildenstern. Mr. Hood found out and made up a story about seeing some other man to protect me. Later, Rosencrantz, Jameson, figured it out. So I killed him and hired someone to kill Porter when I figured out they were working together. That's why I'm lying. That's why I'm so suspicious. It's because I'm guilty.
You didn't kill anybody. The first 2 victims we know had the same killer. So if you didn't kill one of them, you didn't kill the other. As it happens, Jane, this proves you didn't kill one man. You and your father had a disagreement over Mr. Black. In it, his hand got cut. It's been bandaged for a few days. It was cut the night of Mr. Jameson's murder. Jane Hood, you have an alibi for Jimmy, so you didn't kill him. And therefore you didn't kill Mr. Black either.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for proving I didn't kill anyone. You were so certain I killed someone when Mr. Hood was here yesterday. He told me. When the man gave me the knife, I knew I had to find some way to save myself. I was Mr. Wright's prime suspect. He thought I was the big bad killer. If I didn't act, I'd be arrested. So?
You got yourself arrested?
It worked, didn't it? I told you I don't make mistakes. So I played along with you. I got your attention. Just enough to make you question your assumptions about me. You knew it was too simple for me to be the true culprit. With 3 murders, it would have to be more complex. If I told you I was innocent, you never would have believed me. Not that you would have taken my tastes anyway. This way, I both threw the blame on the killer, releasing me from him, and I got a defense attorney without ever paying him a dime.
Hey! That's not fair!
Not fair, Mr. Wright. Neither would have been the atrociously high legal fees you'd have charged me. You tried to kill me. Please, if I meant to kill you, I'd have done so before you had the chance to scream. I'd had every opportunity to just sneak up behind you and get you from behind, but I didn't. Why do you think I spent so much time explaining myself? I just needed to buy enough time for that idiot detective to show up and arrest me. Or did you really think you were going to die? It sure seemed like it at the time. Good. I haven't lost my touch. That's good.
You could have explained to me what really happened.
Why should I trust you? I had to work to save myself, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Miss, you keep saying the phrase, save yourself. Is there a reason for that?
I saw Mr. Black being buried. I convinced the killer to keep me around to help him in the future. But I didn't know what that would mean. He could use me for anything. Or maybe he'd kill me to keep me from talking. Anything could go wrong. I couldn't do anything to upset him. I didn't know what would upset him. That kind of paranoia isn't healthy. So, when Mr. Rosencrantz died, Mr. Hood and I saw our chance. We subtly point the police to the killer and free ourselves from his grasp.
And who was this murderer you saw?
I'm glad you asked. A month back, I saw Shelley the killer burying a man. He caught me and was going to kill me, but decided not to. He made me help in exchange for my life. It was exhilarating and terrifying and exhilarating. Mr. Hood found out. He had to be silenced, but I failed. Mr. Hood agreed to help me form an alibi. I knew it was the killer, so he left his card at the scene. Later, he gave me the knife. He'd killed the Porter woman. He said to hide it, but before I could find a better spot, the other girl found it. I was arrested on the spot.
Your Honor, the witness is either lying or delusional. As was discussed previously, the man in question could not be the culprit. Therefore, we know from the get-go that her very premise is wrong. It is impossible for Shelley the killer to have given her anything.
Hold on a moment. If you don't mind, I'd like to test a theory of mine I've been having.
Yes, go ahead.
I believe she did see the man who killed Mr. Black and Ms. Porter. Now, it wasn't a killer, but I have a feeling once we find out who it was, we'll have our mastermind.
Are you saying the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern crimes had separate killers? That would have to be the result of your logic.
No, I'm saying just the opposite. The prosecution has been on the wrong track this whole time. The defendant never killed anybody.
Then who was it?
I can't say. So for now, why don't we just call him Shelley the Killer? Even though it wasn't? James seems to think it was. Whatever that means, I'm sure it has a profound implication for our case. This would have been Guildenstern. Would you recognize the killer if you saw him? Obviously I would. That's what happened. Do you know who it was? It isn't as if he told me his name. How moronic would that be? Besides that, he kept his face covered the whole while. I told you I guessed he was Shelley the Killer. I guess that's not good enough for you. But it wasn't anybody you recognized at the time. No, I did not recognize him. He was not anybody I recognized. Maybe that's something to go on? Jane seems to be telling the truth this time, so I should be able to learn something. Why didn't he? Simple. I convinced him I was worth more alive. Doesn't sound so simple to me. It is if you know what people want. You've seen me, so you know I can convince people well. I saw that he wasn't from the area and would need somebody on the inside. Killing me would result in Mr. Hood reporting it. That would just create unwanted attention. The killer wouldn't want attention. He would want it all kept secret. All true, but you were a murder witness. Yes, wasn't I? He should have killed me right there. It would have been the smarter choice, in my opinion.
How fortunate! What did you promise him?
How did you convince him to let you live? I told him I'd help cover for the crime, which I had every intention of doing. You had no qualms about helping a killer? Mr. Wright, place yourself in my position. Look at it from my view. Doing anything else would have been idiocy. I was certain I would die if I did not cooperate. This is the only way to protect myself. Having qualms doesn't mean you need to be stupid. That man could have come back at any time and decided you weren't useful anymore. I know. I realized that immediately. Almost right away. And that's why I had to figure out a way to get away from him. But I couldn't trust anyone. When did he figure it all out? Mr. Hood always realized something was up. He knew right away. But he didn't confront me until just the other night.
You refer to Mr. Jameson's murder.
Yes. We noticed the people screaming and chasing each other outside. Mr. Hood made the connection and demanded to know what I was hiding. I couldn't trust him with that kind of secret, so I did the only thing that made sense. I tried to hit him with that bottle and escape. But he's your father. He's not my father. I won't trust Mr. Hood any more than I will you or anybody else. He could have betrayed me and told the police. Besides, what if the killer found out I'd told? I might die. Or Mr. Hood might die. The secret should have remained my burden. My own. How horrible would it be to live thinking you can't trust anyone? She was raised to think this way. She might never grow out of it. He genuinely believed you'd done it? I only told him so much. That was not much at all. He was more used to me thinking I'd done it. More helpful. More active. That's pretty cold.
Thank you. I don't see why I should care what he felt, so long as I came out on top in the end. Feelings are momentary. They don't last long. And my life? My freedom? Those aren't momentary. Not at all. And Mr. Hood knows this, so I'm sure he doesn't mind.
Why did you suddenly decide you could trust him?
I didn't. But I didn't have much choice. I could tell he was on my side, at least for the time being. And that's how we formed our plan.
How did you know it was the killer?
I saw him a long time ago, when I was just a child.
You saw Shelley the killer?
It was only shortly. But the moment burned into my memory. I remember. Death. Silence. He'd killed someone, though I didn't know who at the time.
How could you remember a face you'd only seen once before, so long ago?
I don't remember the face. But everything else about the killer is clear to me. That is why I knew it was him.
Jane didn't see the real killer last month. She saw another man who killed Mr. Black. Her brain must have associated the murder with her father's. She might not even have put a name to it until Mr. Hood confronted her. This was the same man whom you saw before?
That is correct. The same person who was burying Black also gave me the knife.
Of course. This killer, whom we know does not even exist.
Look at you. You think you're so smart, but you are utterly missing the point.
And what would that be?
It doesn't matter if it was actually Shelley the killer or not, does it? I'm honestly embarrassed that a prosecutor of your experience does not realize the implications. Am I not correct, Mr. Wright?
I wouldn't put it so rudely, but she's right.
Carry on. What did you do with the knife?
But you meant for her to find it.
I'm always watching for opportunities. When I saw Trissy searching the place, I knew it would be better to point her the right way. She'd already found the card and knife. I would instantly become a suspect. Which I already was, by the way, if you'll recall. But you didn't have to scare me. I needed to set off warning bells for Mr. Wright. If you'd merely found the evidence, he might actually think I did it. By upping the ante and the stakes, I made him question his conceptions of the case. This way, he actively worked to find me innocent. This way was much better. Huh, it makes sense in a really weird and twisted way.
I, for one, am glad I don't have to share a mind with her. This was all just to get my attention?
The whole goal was to make people realize the killer was the culprit. The arrest, my confrontation with Trissy, it was all part of the plan. Hey, Jane, how's the head? I'm not sure I understand. What is it that you mean? Your head, don't you remember? You wouldn't have planned on that. What are you talking about? I do not recall anything about my head. You really don't remember it? Nothing at all? Wow, I must be stronger than I realize.
What are you two talking about?
Oh, nothing. Just a little something Mr. Waters and I left out of the police report.
Now I'm worried.
Jane sounds like she's telling the truth.
He isn't leaving anything out. The issue is that it conflicts with what we know.
You mean how the killer was never really there?
Right.
Well, maybe that means something. Keep pressing her and maybe you'll figure it out. Maybe there's something to point back to the rest of the case.
Alright, so... there's no wine bottle in this notes. Tiny knife, turning badge. Topsy. Not that. Well, she did say that, it wasn't anywhere she knew. Which one was it? It definitely wasn't my client, right? The same person murdered Mr. Black and Ms. Porter. Jane saw him, remembered him, and then received the knife. But throughout all of that, she never found out his name.
Would you expect him to freely tell it to her?
No, I wouldn't. That wouldn't be smart at all.
That's right. And he kept his face covered so I couldn't see it.
The important thing is she knew it was the same person both times. That's more valuable to us than any name. One thing she said was she didn't recognize him. Jane, could you do something for me? Answer me just one question.
What is it?
This man sitting over here in the defendant's chair. Do you know him?
Of course I do. He lives next door to me.
What is his name?
Francisco Mendez.
One more question. Just one more. Witness, where has Mr. Mendez been for the past 4 days?
In jail.
Porter and Black had the same killer. Black and Jameson had the same killer. All three people were murdered by the same person. My client couldn't have killed any of them.
Oh my, that's right. It was the same person for all three.
Jane saw somebody. Someone she thought was the killer. Now we know that it wasn't. But there's still the question of who it really was. We know now that it wasn't my client.
Then who?
Jane and her father planted the car to distract the police from her. It was also to point them in the direction of the man they thought had done it.
They really worked one over on us.
It was just to protect ourselves, nothing more. I don't want to live in the shadow of some mass murderer, or be in his debt.
And what about the police? You should have reported the truth.
Why should I trust them? Any one person might have been working with the killer. I can't know your true motivations until I judge them for myself. A fool trusts people she doesn't know. I am not a fool.
Was Mr. Hood in on the whole time?
Mr. Hood has trained me to be like him. Independent, untrusting. But he lives with me. He knows me well enough to guess my plans. He'd been looking for a way to corner the killer and keep him away from us for good. I imagine he picked up right away and played along when he spoke yesterday after my arrest. And he didn't know what to make of it.
He did, but how did you know that?
Because you're just so predictable, it's precious.
That's all quite interesting. Yet we shouldn't hold you any longer. I believe we can place you in police protection until this is resolved.
The officer is nice, but I'll look out for myself.
If that's what you want. What will you do from here?
Me? I'm going to kill a whole bunch of people.
After all this, I don't believe you for a second.
I knew you'd say that.
Cut to tomorrow's headlines. Schoolyard massacre.
Well, I wouldn't have imagined it, but that girl just cleared the defendant. He couldn't possibly have stabbed Miss Porter, and if her killer also killed Mr. Black, well, I just can't think of who it might be. One's case must always adapt to changing circumstances. As new information comes to light, the truth is slowly revealed. It is clear to me that Miss Hood's the killer is not the defendant.
So, is that it?
No! The suspect killed neither Mr. Porter nor Black. I can see that now. I still believe he murdered Mr. Jameson.
That's not possible. We know Jimmy and Mr. Black had the same killer.
Do we? Do we really? Up until now, we've come to that conclusion merely from the fact they were buried together. The idea relied on supposition and inconclusive testimony, but nothing substantial. Ergo, it is entirely possible they were separate killings.
You're going to change your stance this late? We've been sure of it from the very beginning.
You leave me no choice. If you won't give me 2 counts of murder, I will settle for one. But Francisco Mendez will not, cannot, be found innocent. I will not give up on that verdict. The killer, whom Miss Hood meant, was one of Mendez's henchmen. Mr. Black was killed as a hit job, on orders from his boss. Miss Porter was likewise assassinated in order to keep her silent. Only Stephen Jameson was murdered by Mendez himself. However, the shovel and location of the bodies prove he knew about Mr. Black. As mastermind, all of the deaths are still on his head.
You think it was one of his henchmen?
And why not? The defendant has the perfect motive for all 3 murders. But why should he bother to get his hands dirty? He's the Revalis Dawn.
And this henchman? Who do you think it was?
Maybe we'll find that out. Maybe we won't. My case is against the suspect. I have 2 charges of murder to bring against him. As long as we have one, he goes away. The murder of Mr. Jameson is quite clearly his doing. Everything else is explained by a thug carrying out the rest of his dirty work. We already have his fingerprints on the shovel and a myriad more to tie him to the crimes. It was him!
Dagnabbit, you don't know when to let it go.
Nor will I ever! Not after how you mutilated that man like an animal! I will not stop until I see you get the justice you deserve!
Prosecutor, you're going too far. Step back for a moment and look at how biased you're being.
He's the murderer! He has to be! I've looked the facts up and down and can't see any other possibility.
We will find that possibility if it exists. Now wait for me to give the rebuttal before we decide.
Yes, you're right. If you can find fault, then do it! Either way, I want a conclusion.
I believe that's enough arguing. We must hear the defense's rebuttal.
And I must stop this because, sheesh. Voice is made of pain.